And then they also participate in activities here at St David's, and Lucas has recently started singing bass with our choir, and he's got a very fine bass voice, and he's also a very gifted improviser. And today Lucas is going to play one of his study pieces in studying Stilus Fantasticus, which is a prelude by Krebs, and that's the work you're playing, isn't it? Yes. And so I hope you enjoy it. The Prelude in C by Krebs. To move to some of our younger students, and I'd like to introduce you to Cecilia. Now, before Cecilia comes up, we actually have to set up the organ again, because when you're younger, one of the biggest problems is how do you reach the pedals? And there are many ways of doing that. We have these things called pedal extenders, which we put on the pedals, and you can make them all different heights, and so the child can sit at a normal organ, particularly a mechanical action organ, and they can reach the pedals. So we use those, and we only use the pedals that they are playing for the time. The other thing we do is we have this set up, which is a fully adjustable organ. And the reason I set this up, this particular Hammond instrument, which we can run Huffwork through, is that the whole organ adjusts to the size of the student. So the bench goes down and the keyboard goes down, and they always play a full pedal board, and that's what they do. And in that way, the child as young as 3 can sit and play the organ, which is always a lot of fun. So I'm going to just adjust the organ, and we'll get started with Cecilia. Now this organ has more adjustments than any other organ I've ever seen. We can make this bench go super low and super high, and it's been done. The organ builder did that deliberately. Okay, well I'll get Cecilia to come up, and we'll just make sure it's the right height for you. Just have a seat on the organ first, and we'll just see if that's the right height for you. Just try the pedals and see. I might get Cecilia to play some of her pedal exercises so you can see what you play your pedal exercises where you go up and down. Yep, that's it. Great, okay. Now Cecilia's going to play 2 pieces. What's the first piece you're going to play? Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then she's going to play Musical Box, isn't it? Okay, good. I'll set up Mary Had a Little Lamb first. Okay. All right. to go. Now we've got Keith and Penny and Alan. I think that's the only ones that haven't played. Okay, now this enters into another very exciting part of what Suzuki Organ is, and not only do we work with young people, but we also have two other areas that we work in. We work in gerontology, so I have mature age students that I teach who love doing organ because of the brain science of what's involved in neuroplasticity, and it means a lot to me having Penny, because Penny is an employee of the National Disability Authority. Agency, I'm sorry. And Penny's enrolled as one of my students because Penny suffered a stroke last year, and she has been using Suzuki Organ to help regain motor movement in her hand. And so this is a very exciting part of research for me, and we're hoping that we'll be able to eventually set up a research lab at Grace McKellar where they have a pipe organ and work with stroke victims and also early stage Alzheimer's in teaching them the organ. And I'm very excited that Penny's part of this project. And Penny's nephew is Keith, and Keith was he was my youngest student I ever taught. I think he was 2.5 when he first started learning the organ. And Keith and Penny are going to play a duet together, and then Keith's going to play his favourite song, which is Star Wars. So we might just start with the duet first. Now I need to reset up the organ for you. Now I think we'll put Keith on you're going to sit on the same organ, aren't you? Yeah, that's right. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, if you could, let's pull it out. Pick it up. That's it. That's it. Just pop it there for a sec. his favourite song. Do you want me to introduce it first? I'll give you an introduction. Okay, all right. Now you're going to put your double pedal C. So you've got that C there in the bottom 7 11. Why don't you start playing those first? So bottom C and the middle C, you hold those down. That's it together. That's it. So when we do a bow in Suzuki, we do a scrudgy cart like this, which is a Thai bow. Very good. Well, we're up to our last student. Alan was my first student in Geelong, and he was the first and inaugural Don Millard Scholar. Alan's now the organist at the Wesley Church in Geelong, and he's achieved an enormous amount. He's got an A for grade 7 organ last year. He's currently studying for his grade 8 organ, and it's always been an honour to teach him. He's a very gifted improviser as well, and continues to achieve amazing things in the organ. He's, oh yes, we need to make the organ a lot higher. Yeah. He's third year science, aren't you now?
That's right.
Yeah, third year science at the University of Melbourne, and continues to enjoy playing the organ, and has recently been given access to Trinity College, I think, is it, where he does his regular practice during the week between lectures. So Alan's, I'm not sure exactly what Alan's going to play. I know he's going to do Boehm, and maybe we'll see how much time we've got. All right, so he's going to start with some of these Boehm prelude in C major. Okay, this will be the prelude from the Boehm prelude in C. something soft, because I think all our ears need a bit of a break. And this is a good little ad for something else we've got coming up. One of my other roles is I'm Deputy President of the Victorian Society of Organists, and one of the many events we've got coming up is the official launch of the Australian launch of the biography of Anton Heiler. Anton Heiler had a huge influence through my teacher, David Rumsey, and through many of the teachers I've studied with. And part of that is that Alan is going to be playing at that tribute, and he's going to be playing one of the Danish chorales, and we're going to get the whole congregation to sing that chorale, and then he'll play it. This is being held at the Toorak Uniting Church, and if you Google the Victorian Society of Organists, you'll see more information about it. It's later in March. So we're going to finish with something quiet. These are written right at the very end of Anton Heiler's life. He's regarded as one of the great organ teachers of the 20th century. He taught my teacher, he taught Brett Layton, he taught Krista Rumsey, he taught many of the people who've been coming down here, and had a huge influence on bringing the works of Bach to the wider world. This is Anton Heiler's setting on Rin Nu op Jesu Haven, a Danish chorale, and I imagine that this was written right at the very end of his life, just before he died. So he's looking back, as Brahms did, on a life well spent playing the organ. You got a registration for this? This is for the chapel. Yeah. So your solo, 16 and 8. Okay. We might use this just to give it more of a neoclassical. And I'll use this up here. Yeah, try that. So your solos, so the two manuals, is it? Yeah, solos are great. Actually. No, that's right. That'll be fine. Yep. All the students to come up and just take a quick bow, and that'll conclude our student concert. There'll be, Nick, you come down as well. There'll be a short break while Bev sets up and we readjust the bench, but we'll get all the students to line up and you can give them a big clap. students. I think I'm pretty excited. We've got more students in Geelong. There's only one other town that has more students than that, and that is Warrnambool. And so I think Country Victoria is in pretty good shape for August. Thank you.